Well, good afternoon. Again, welcome back to Washington Watch. I am Jody Hice filling in today for Tony. Thank you for joining us as well. All right, while President Trump has been striving to bring peace to the Middle East and seems to have made some enormous strides there, he's also made it clear that there's at least one war worth waging here, and that is the war on drugs. And the Trump administration is simply recognizing that decades-long efforts by the U.S. drug enforcement officials simply has not been enough. It's not accomplished what it should have accomplished. So it's been resorting, this administration, to military force to stop the narco-terrorists, and particularly focusing on those coming out of Venezuela. And Democrats, not surprisingly, they're opposed to all of this. And along with them, the Venezuelan officials, I would also say, insist that they have no part in drug trafficking. So is the Trump administration right here? Well, joining me to offer some perspective in all of this is Washington Stand writer Yoe Suárez, who was exiled from Cuba for his investigative reporting on topics that socialist governments simply don't want to have covered. Yoe, welcome to Washington Watch. It's great to have you.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so on Monday, we had some Democrats on the House Foreign Affairs Committee expressed opposition to what the Trump administration is doing and literally accused the president of pushing for a regime change in Venezuela. So what do people really need to know when it comes to this whole issue that we're watching in Venezuela?
Well, the first thing to understand is that Nicolás Maduro is not the legitimate president of Venezuela. He lost in a landslide in July 2024 in the presidential elections last year down there. And he is the head of a cartel, El Cartel de los Soles, who involve high-ranking officials in his regime and involves Maduro himself. What we have to understand is that the El Cartel de los Soles operates with El Tren de Aragua, which is a terrorist organization. It was named like that by President Trump, by this administration, and also works with El Cartel de Sinaloa in order to get drugs here to the U.S. that is killing this drug thousands of Americans.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you this. Yesterday, Senate Democrats tried and failed, but they attempted to pass a bill to stop the U.S. military from having strikes on drug boats, if you will, off the coast of Venezuela. But you, having lived in Cuba, what do you think about the position that the Democrats are putting themselves in opposing any stoppage of these drug boats that are coming?
Well, it's sad that one of the major parties here in the U.S. is aligned, in fact, with terrorist organizations. We have seen that with the Democrat base and some Democratic officials with Hamas and Hezbollah, but now there are some of them, let's say, are aligned with the Maduro regime, which is a terrible regime, and it's an ideological colony of Cuba. Cuba is the head of the snake down there in South America, in Latin America in general, and in Venezuela. Hugo Chavez first, and now Maduro has been destroying the country for decades now. It's very sad seeing the Venezuelan people. They don't have medicine. They don't have access to the basic services. Down there, a lot of it's a rich country. I mean, with so much resources, and for some reason, it has the highest inflation in the world. I think also with the Cuban inflation. So it's really sad what is happening, and it's sad that a major party here in the U.S. is aligned with these kind of regimes.
It really is stunning to watch. Now, let me ask you this. We'll just go one step further in this whole discussion here. The Trump administration has literally been building up military forces there in the Caribbean, now having deployed some 10,000 U.S. troops in the region, mostly in bases there in Puerto Rico. What do you make of the direction that the administration is going in?
Well, the next logical step is going inland with targeted attacks to drug objectives, targets down there in Venezuela. The last weeks, we have seen the military from the U.S. destroying vessels that are transporting drugs to the Caribbean area. And let me tell you something, these small towns in front of the Caribbean were fisher towns with people fishing and commerce, and the drug trafficking has destroyed all these towns, has put these towns in danger. And I can tell you, a lot of Venezuelan peoples down there, they don't want this reality anymore. They want Maduro out because they recognize he is not the legitimate president. I repeat, he is the head of a terrorist organization that is not only harming them, but harming other countries in the Caribbean area specifically, and working with the worst cartels, even in Colombia and Mexico.
Wow. Thank you so much, Washington Stand writer Yoe Suárez. Great perspective, and we appreciate you joining us on Washington Watch.